In this video, we're going to look at percent change. So percent change is when we're looking for the percent in a problem, and obviously there's been a change. So usually it is an increase or a decrease change. So for instance, perhaps the price of something has increased and you want to know what the percent increase was, or maybe something is on sale, something is decreasing. So again, you want to know what that percent change is. And that's what these sorts of questions are going to answer or look at. So you have the same basic setup here. We're going to use the idea of the amount of change over the original number. And that's going to be our fraction of change. And we're going to set that equal to the percent over 100. So what's going to happen in these problems is you're going to be solving specifically for the percent. So your X is going to be the percent here. And that's typically how the setup is going to work. Another thing to note here that is really, really important when you're doing percent change is that your denominator is always the original value. And that's something that's easy to forget. A lot of students will put the new value in or something different. So it's always the starting value or the original. So let's look at two examples. So first, Mary ate 5 servings of fruit and veggies per day. Her physician encourages her to increase that to 9 servings of fruit and veggies per day. And we're looking for the percent change here. So first of all, what's the change? Well, we're starting at 5 and we're going to 9. So the change is 9 minus 5, which is just 4. And the original amount that Mary was eating was 5 servings per day. So if I use this basic setup here, right, my amount of change would be 4. My original is 5. Okay, so your top is going to be your change. And then your bottom is always going to be the original. And then we're going to set that equal to X over 100. And now you just have a regular percent problem, a proportion problem that we're used to solving. So we're going to cross multiply here. We have 4 times 100 equals 5 times X, or of course, 400 equals 5X. We're going to divide both sides by 5. And then we see here that this is going to be 80. Now, don't forget, we were finding the percent here. So our answer isn't just 80, it's going to be 80%. So that would be an 80% increase in the amount of servings of fruit and vegetables that Mary is eating each day. Right, and here's one more example. So insurance reviewed a claim of $624. If the patient had used the preferred provider instead, the bill would have been reduced to only $249.60. So we're looking for, again, the percent change here. This time we have a decrease, right? But it's still the same idea of percent change. So first thing you have to look at is the actual change. So we're going to take that 624 and subtract it with that 249.60. And you're just going to go ahead and do this right on your calculator. So let's see, 624 minus 249.60. We're looking at $374.40. So that's a pretty significant savings. And then again, we always need to know the original. So the original amount here is the 624, right? So this is what they paid. They paid the 624. If they had gone to the provider, it would have been 249, but the original amount is the 624. So we're looking at 374.40 divided by 624 equals X over 100. And then again, we're just going to go ahead and cross multiply here. So we have 374.40 times 100 is equal to 624X. So 37,440 equals 624X. I go ahead and divide both sides by 624. And I actually get here exactly 60. And again, don't forget, in all these cases, you're looking for the percent. So the percent reduction would have been a 60% reduction. Now, one thing I want to point out here is typically when we talk about percent change, we talk about the positive version, and then we'll add in the words like it's a percent reduction, or it was decreased, or it was increased. So typically you're going to see your answers as positive values or positive percents, even though you may be decreasing something, because the wording would be there somewhere. So if I look at my example here, we're talking about the percent reduction. So the answer there is 60% reduction. We don't want to say negative 60% reduction, because then we're using two negatives in the same sentence, so it doesn't really quite work out. So we would say 60%, and then the reduction is implying that it is actually decreasing. All right, and there's lots of other examples too. So I encourage you to go ahead and check out some more examples in your text, or try some of the practice problems as well, to see other examples of increase and decrease and how we can solve those.